nuclear, actually 2 atomic bombs. And the Department of Energy succeeded the Manhattan Project in the nuclear weapons work. So because of that, it is distinctive in all the hundreds of federal agencies in several ways, one of which being it's self-regulating for both nuclear safety and worker safety. So in my job in the Department of Energy, I was hired to be essentially a combination nuclear safety engineer and worker safety engineer to conduct internal oversight of the Department of Energy's worker and public health and safety programs. So let me just stop right there for a second. So you're saying that the Department of Energy doesn't have any oversight; it's internal oversight only? That's correct. Again, singular. Of all the hundreds of federal agencies, there is only one that, excuse me, OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. When that law was passed in 1970, federal agencies were given the opportunity to waive OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration oversight, and impose it on themselves. The Department of Energy is the single federal agency that did that. So the OSHA does not have jurisdiction over the Department of Energy's facilities. Neither does that's pretty strange, right? It's unique in all the federal agencies, but again, it results from the nuclear weapons mission. Congress didn't want any other agency or the Department of Energy to be able to interfere with the nuclear weapons mission of the Department of Energy. And we paid a high price as a society for that self-regulation. And my story is quite involved with that. The Department of Energy also claimed to be self-regulating for environmental safety for decades. It would say that the Environmental Protection Administration had no jurisdiction over the Department of Energy sites. Now, eventually, as a result of a number of lawsuits about all the environmental disasters that the Department of Energy did constructing these nuclear weapons, it relinquished its claim to be self-regulating for environment. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission is another, if you follow their genealogy, it's another product of the Manhattan Project. And at one time, with the Atomic Energy Commission, the Atomic Energy Commission was both the regulator of nuclear power and the promoter of nuclear power. And kind of similar to what the FAA is, the Federal Aviation Administration is. If you look at its
Hello, fellas. Everybody's here. Freddie, Tom, good to see you, Mike.
How are you, Mo?
All right, you got everything you want? The chef cooked for you special. The dancers will kick your tongue out, and your gravy is good. Throw out chips for everybody in the room so they can play in the house.
My credit good enough to buy you out? Casino, hotel. Corleone family wants to buy you out.
Corleone family wants to buy me out. I buy you out. You don't buy me out.
Your casino loses money. Maybe we can do better.
You think I'm skimming off the top, Mike?
You're unlucky.
You goddamn guineas really make me laugh. I do you a favor and take Freddie in when you're having a bad time, and then you try to push me out.
You took Freddie in because the Corleone family bankrolled your casino because the Molinari family on the coast guaranteed his safety. Now we're talking business. Let's talk business.
Yeah, let's talk business, Mike. First of all, you're all done. The Corleone family don't even have that kind of muscle anymore. The Godfather is sick, right? You're getting chased out of New York by Bazzini and the other families. What do you think is going on? You think you can come to my hotel and take over? I talked to Bazzini. I can make a deal with him and still keep my hotel.
Is that why you slapped my brother around in public?
Oh, no, that was nothing, Mike. Now, Mo didn't mean nothing by that. Sure, he flies off the handle once in a while, but Mo and me were good friends, right, Mo, huh?
I got a business to run. I got to kick ass sometimes to make it run right. We had a little argument, Freddie and I, so I had to straighten him out.
You straightened my brother out?
He was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Players couldn't get a drink at the table. What's wrong with you?
I leave for New York tomorrow. Think about a price.
Do you know who I am? I'm Mo Green. I made my bones when you were going out with cheerleaders.
Wait a minute, Mo. I get an idea. Tom, you're the consigliere, and you can talk to the Don. You can explain us to the...
Don is semi-retired, and Mike is in charge of the family business now. Have anything to say it to Mike.
Mike? You don't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that.
Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again. Ever.
All right. With that, we can, hey, KYP, I can't get the camera going. Here, and now I turned it off. All right, there we go. So we have half an hour until Ham comes on, and we can talk about anything you want. I probably will not stay on much after Ham goes off because I have to get up early tomorrow to go to New York. I was going to go today, but one, the weather was nice here. Two, my morning walk with Lucky was longer than it should have been to get him to his storage place. And so I got lazy. I did a video. And anyway, I had booked for today to go to New York because I thought I was ringing the bell with finger motion at 9:30. In fact, I'm ringing it at 4. So anyway, I put Lucky over into his facility late in the afternoon. That was tough because it's hotter than usual. And for dogs, it's hotter than it is for us because they're down near the heat. Man, it was tough getting him over there. And next time, I think I'll have to take an Uber. But anyway, so he's not here. I'm missing him, but I'll be able to get up bright and early, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, run around, get to the train station, and be in New York City in time. Or I think we have to sign in at like 2:30 or 3 o'clock to clear security. But I'm really excited to see everybody regarding Finger. And I think maybe it'll be a new chapter. I don't know if that was a good clip. There's plenty of them, but we have to be more like Michael Corleone rather than victims to these guys. You know, the short sellers are not smart. They just are willing to lie. They're willing to smile, take advantage. Then they have attorneys saying to them, hey, you're not doing anything wrong. They fob off, they get the CEO to sign what's essentially an escape valve for the hedge fund behind them or the short seller behind them. And so you have these young, talentless men, arrogant, who just rob hundreds of billions, according to some information, trillions of dollars. The article I've read to you that studied the Ansem funds, I don't have it right at my fingertips. I'll think where it is. I think it's in my file over there. But anyway, by memory, $27 trillion taken out of the U.S. markets in 1 year at one bourse, at one exchange offshore. 27 trillion, no taxes paid. No taxes paid. I don't want to be political because I guess we're witnessing the re-election of the most popular president in history. And we know he's always treated women and minorities well and working class well. And he's great with foreign policy, and his economic policies are terrific. So I don't want to get political. But one thing I want to point out, if he's reelected, he's going to raise the capital gains tax rate. The proposal is to 44.6% on the federal level. And the state level, you got to add on top of that. You're never going to make wealth these criminals that short and these algorithmic trading guys, high frequency trading guys, boom, boom, in and out. It's so important. We got to do it. We got to do it. It adds so much to the United States of America. It adds so much to the economy. It's so important to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. And you got Ken Griffin, who adds zero to the world. Zero. He hasn't invented anything. He doesn't make people look prettier. He doesn't make food grow taller. He doesn't make the air cleaner. He doesn't make a faster car. He doesn't make a better jet engine. Nothing. All he does is step in front of order flow, step in front of somebody else's light beam, light pipe, and gets the fraction of a penny more sooner. Does it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And he's a multi-billionaire. And guess what? For all of his profits, 60% of his high frequency trade profits, 60% are taxed at a long-term capital gains rate. And Breakfast at Bernie's is going to come after you to raise your taxes to pay for the spending, which I'm sure is justified. This is the single most popular president in history with the best team around him, but to pay for the Ukraine, Middle East, Taiwan, giving student loans, giving them away. And Ken Griffin gets 60% of his high frequency trades, as I understand it, taxed at the lowest possible rate. On top of that, they can structure their hedge funds that everything they take out is a long-term capital gain. When are we going to stand up and say we've had enough of it? But anyway, what else? A bank went down over the weekend. You know that the headlines are all calling for a crash. You know that everywhere you turn, they're talking about gold and all that. To me, even though this has been my mantra for, more than 20 years, to me, when you see it in the headlines, it probably means it's not ready to happen yet. And when everybody's telling you about it, it's probably not ready to happen yet. I think the liquidity there, and I think there is a liquidity crisis. I bought a book on repos from Amazon wrapped in plastic, $85, $95. I didn't open it right away, but when I finally opened it, inside it's some woman's memoir on how to start a business from scratch. Somebody just put another book in it and put the cover on it. So I wanted to read about that, but I believe that there is a crisis going on behind the scenes. However, I think they have it under, I don't know if they have it under control, but the forward momentum of our economy, the forward momentum of a presidential election, the forward momentum of the Fed buying treasury bonds, and we're putting money into the system, into circulation. We're creating it out of thin air at such volumes that I think the stock market is going to go up by 20, 30, 40% from here. And housing, because I'm not in it, of course, but housing is going to go up. Every asset is not through the everything bubble. The inflation of everything isn't over with yet, in my judgment. Now, the only risk, and I've said this on the last few calls, if the 10-year note, the bond, I don't think it has to get to 5% to be throwing off alarm bells, but use 5% as your number. If it goes over 5%, that means the bond market is starting to act separately from the talking, the bully pulpit talking of Jay Powell and Janet Yellen and the single most popular president in the history of the United States. So I'm not saying the economy, although the economy around here, the economy is amazing. I don't know. Every time somebody lists a house, 2 days later, it's sold. Restaurants are full, streets are full. Everybody's trying. I don't know. It's confusing. But I think what's happening is there's a lot of money out there chasing a pretty fixed system of goods. So anyway, all right, I'll go to some questions, and sorry for my all right. I think I'll go backwards. I'll start at the latest. What's going to happen these weeks? Well, I think the sun will come up each morning and go down. Birds will sing. The stock market will be open. A lot of the companies we've talked about, their shares will be trading. And, baseball will be played. The Madrid Open's going on. I think Rafa won't win it. Probably Sinner will win it. But I'd like to see Casper Ruud win. We're going to get to watch Courthouse Battle in New York. Those are the kind of things going on. Hey, Mexican. Inflation higher, market higher. What's really interesting? I read it to you guys, Rickards, but I've been listening to people. Nobody knows what stagflation is. And my own opinion, that gentleman that came on the other day said I'm never right. I was thinking I was right when I called the market was going to keep going up last year. I didn't see a crash coming. And I was also right. I should start making a newsletter so I can point to it, but it's in my lives. I said the Fed wouldn't cut interest rates. I really don't think they can. So it's really an intriguing place, but I think this pullback in the markets, even the people who are typically pretty bullish are getting nervous. I just think we're going to go higher, with the caveat, if interest rates get out of control, which means the bond market is falling over. The bond market's like a brontosaurus falling over next to a domestic pig. The bond market is massive, particularly when you take into account all the derivatives around it. The stock market is really small compared to that. Yeah, Keith, I'm going to the closing bell. That's it. No, I'm ringing it at 4. I know, Mexican. I told everyone that because I made an assumption. I assumed that the bell was always at 9:30, but I got the agenda. I have to be at I forget where. It's somewhere in Times Square. I have to be there around 2:30 to meet up with everybody, and then we get in by 3. Anyway, 4 o'clock. Shadow banking. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. It's also interesting in China. There's a lot of debt out there, but I don't notice any fear on anybody's part in the economy. And that has a potential just to keep going forward without, it's how people feel about their lives and what they project going forward. I overheard a mother and father about to buy their daughter a condo, and absolutely no fear about doing it. The price seemed right, the location. Just looking in the window down here, I just don't see any fear out there. I can't wait either, Ben, but I got to be toward the front. Otherwise, I'm going to be buried in the, all the beanstalks. But I don't know if I will be, because I don't think I'm the most important person on that dais. But I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing everybody involved. I think Vin finger motion is on the verge of finally just breaking out of the trap that Veland Partners got them in. Well, Winged Wolf, there's an article I almost printed out to read to you, and I forget where I saw it. Maybe I'll do it from the train or something. But there's Congress's approval rating is 7%. And the whole reason the headline went corruption. Nobody trusts Congress. It's all corrupt. All corrupt. And I think the Republican Party's the worst in Congress. In the House of Representatives, they're retiring to give the majority back to the Democratic Party. And that's not elections. The only two that I trust in, well, I like Pete Sessions for several reasons. Personally, I've met him and I know him from two events over the years. But I like Anna Paulina Luna and I like Byron Donalds. Marjorie Greene, I guess you could throw in there. You know where she stands. Matt Gaetz, you know where he stands. He went to my school, by the way. I don't know. There's not that many I trust. They all seem to work for the Democrats. And I'm a Democrat, so I know that confuses everybody. But what a party. What a party. Biden is garbage, the one. I always love that picture. Cute baby girl. Canny boy. Canny makes people poor. I can't wait till Monday's open, Zachariah. I don't know what you mean by Trump. I don't play bridge. Hey, Greg Medard. William and Trump are great men. I would love to meet Trump. Hey, I was feeling Winged Wolf. I was feeling embarrassed by that video. I didn't put it up right away. And so I did a longer video this morning. And I was also embarrassed that was so long. But I like those two TLO doctors. When I had a chance to say hi to everybody in the room, I felt like I was in that movie, Spies R Us. Doctor. They said, "Are you a doctor?" And no, I'm not a doctor. Doctor. I think Grand Rising. Yeah, I'd like to see Finger go. He was banging waitresses 2 at a time. Don't ever, what did he say? Don't ever take sides against the family again. KYP. Hey, Dips. Hey, Matt K. Hey, Pat, Mexican. If I were a butthead, you could do that. You could do that. Hey, Steve Petchke. Monday. Hey, Cliff. Oscar, Saberdella, Wickedums. Isn't Wickedums from Bart Simpson? Blessing. Black Bezos. Blessings to you, Black Bezos. So let's hope that someday Bezos will call himself the white, whatever, whoever your last name is. Susan. Hello, Susan, Sean, Darren, Sir William. I had a girlfriend, really, I did. She and her sister would call me Sir William. Oh, I liked that. But they were, like all my girlfriends, they smart enough to marry somebody else. I like your gnome. Let's see the newer comments. Hey, Zizu. U.S. Tahoe. I will admit, yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to meet that team. I just think it'd be great to, I don't know that I'm first on Trump's list, but tell you what, I would go run the SEC for him, or even better, I'll go run the Treasury for him. But I don't have that skill level. But what kind of skill do you need to be a cheater? They all cheat. We need more Byron Donalds. Yeah. I twice, I'm catching myself because I know I was there once for a long time sitting in the back. But I think one of the other times I was in Congress, we went in and sat just briefly. And it happened that he was talking. But then I've watched him on TV a few times too, so it all blurs together. But I trust him to stay true to, he's not going to be bent by a fancy dinner and promises of lucre to vote with Nancy Pelosi. Somebody's buying Finger. Finger looks good on the chart. Oh, I should have printed that out. Finger looks good. All right, I'll try to find that. It's the same. Was it Monday last week? I talked about Finger for 40 minutes. And I don't have anything to add to that, Pharaoh. I can go through if you want me to. The 6 or 7 or 8 pistons in the Finger engine. I just don't feel like it. We'll let Ham do it. I can go back through the pending financings and the banks and the potential contracts and the rumors and the fact that earnings are going to cross into the positive. I can do all that again, but we've all heard it. You must start thinking I've lost my governor. You must think I'm a loony. I just don't feel like it. So I don't have any rumors or news. My guess is it would be a good time of a normal company to put out a press release, but you have to understand, everybody. The good guys, us, I'm going to include myself in the good guys. The good guys and their attorneys, if they're following the rules, they are not allowed to put out press releases and news just to hype the price of the stock. It has to be a valid news story. You're also not allowed to stretch your news stories out. You got to print them when they come. So your attorney's going to say, you can't put something out just because you're ringing a bell. So I really don't expect any news tomorrow. It might happen, but I don't expect it. In terms of ringing the bell, Pharaoh, I think for Finger to ring the bell is a huge statement. It is a huge PR boost. And just imagine the legitimacy and the ability to point this out to institutional investors. Everybody wants something to happen right away, do something, get it going right now. I don't see that happening with Finger. Now, the surprise is, and I'm sure I'll let Ham do that talking. The surprise is if one of these back offices does a buy-in, if anyone enforced settlement, if one of the criminals turned on the other criminals, if Gary Gensler grew a pair, I don't think pair has anything to do with it. He just has to have some integrity. He has zero integrity as far as I'm concerned. He's in a job and he's sworn to protect both, I think, both the Constitution, but retail investors and the smooth functioning of the markets. He doesn't do that. He's there for Goldman Sachs prime brokerage. That's it. Everything else, he looks the other way. He has no integrity, in my opinion. I love it, Scott Van Dyke. Scott Van Dyke. Scott Van Dyke. MMTLP is a chit, and it's valuable because you always know you can go in. Let's say you left your gold watch for repair at the jewelers, and you have the receipt, and you know you can always get the watch. So you don't worry about it. You just keep it in a safe place. But if you wait too long, as I did with a watch, you show up to the jeweler, he's out of business. And there's a fortune teller in the store with giving fortunes, and the jeweler's gone. So your watch is gone. So if you wait too long, all you have is a chit. And that chit's value is whether or not the lawsuit's going to work. So I think that's great, Scott. I think that's great. And I know those videos were longer than you wanted to listen to, but I just felt like I needed to just get it out there. So I've made my piece that I've let everybody know. 2 minutes to Ham. I don't know anything about pick, but it works for your teeth. The Treasury note and how it relates to the economy. Well, Treasury notes are just short-term assets. So it's the bonds and, Treasury bills, short-term. Treasury note is anything under, I think bills are under 90 days. Notes are under a year. Bonds are longer term. And I don't, I'm going to run out of time. I'll think about it while we're talking. I'll come back to you. But everything is interest rates. And the battle right now is people believe the Fed has everything under control. They're the Wizard of Oz. They're just some doofuses behind a big booming screen. They don't know what they're doing. They just hope it works. And you're about to find out they never knew. Bernanke's helicopter money. Frankly, Trump pushed for lower interest rates a little too long, probably. But Trump also had a strategy, in my opinion, to bring in jobs, spend the money in America, and increase the ability of the economy to grow to pay back debt. But you can't prove any of that. And then we now have the spending has gone berserk. It's not all about the presidents. It's because we have a debt-based system, and to keep it going, we have to have ever increasing debt. So, all right, I got to call in. But Southeastern, just before I call him, the real issue to me is everyone believes the Fed controls interest rates. They do, to some extent, control short-term interest rates. The other thing they do, the Fed, just like the Bank of Japan in Japan, the Fed can buy bonds from the Treasury when no one else wants them, creating demand, ostensibly keeping interest rates lower than they otherwise would be. But these things are cons. These are con jobs. The key is, does the rest of the world still have faith that interest rates are down, that inflation's down? And the biggest bugaboo is the sale of commodities in dollars and bank reserves of dollars. This administration, which has a lot of people promoted beyond their skill level and a lot of ideologues, they're turning the dollar into something you can't trust. We shouldn't have done that. The dollar is a reserve currency, but we're using it for political and really half-baked ideas, agendas in people like Victoria Nuland's head. And people are starting to not trust the dollar. So my point is, I got to call in, is when the bond market stops trusting, for example, the value of the dollar, stops trusting that the Fed has inflation under control, and then on top of that, stops trusting interest rates, it's real trouble. But if banks start falling, that's going to contract the money supply too. So it's not all black and white. All right, let me call into the hamster before he goes and plays pickleball. All right, yeah, but I gotta put the speaker on. I had it on, but I gotta do it again. You're on mine. I just have to do this speaker. 90%. All right, there you go.
Connected to.
Do you want me to call the other line? Are you there? Are you there? Technology. Settings, Bluetooth. Okay, let me call him again. I don't know if we'll get him. Guess not. All right.
Call ended.
Are you there now?
I'm there.
Hold on. All right, everybody, we're merged into William's YouTube channel, and I have the conference call number going on, so we'll just get going with that. William, I told everyone it's not to buy or sell, same nonsense. I was going off first on the gentleman from Morgan Stanley who works at Share and Tell. He's a good guy now. And I wanted the FBI, Secret Service, or anyone, just ask him, who did he make a short for when he was a broker? Give up the clients' names. It's the easiest way to start. Who'd you do it for? I did it every day. So it's either he was doing it or his clients were doing it. It's one or the other. So if we get the information from him. Second thing I was talking about, I started with Finger Motion is ringing the bell tomorrow at 4:00. I believe it's in Times Square. I don't know yet where it is, William. I'm sure you've gotten the invitation.
I have it, but I don't. It is Times Square. I don't really know where it is, so it's
okay. So that's why I protested. I know where it is in 2006. I will not be there, so I'll try to find you. I'm running around the city, meeting a couple of hedge funds, and I'm a little bit busy, but I hope it all goes well, and I'll touch base with you after the bell, and we can meet up for we'll meet up for a drink or something like that while you're in New York.
Awesome.
But I went to the NASDAQ site
Sorry about that.
And the NASDAQ views ringing the bell as a great accomplishment for public companies. Don't get me wrong. They don't protect you for naked short selling, but companies that do get the chance to ring a bell, it's a great accomplishment, and shareholders and management should be proud of that. They got the opportunity to ring the bell. They don't let shitty companies do it. They let good companies do it, and Finger Motion is a good company, and it's just been under attack by Lynn Partners ever since they came around. It's been a total shit show, and the companies fought through it, and I think they're going to get roasted here. So that's my opinion on what's going on. I told you last week I got 3 hedge funds that I know are buying the stock, and I always told you accumulation will lead to higher prices. These guys buy every day, and the accumulation, you can see what happens. You keep accumulating it, and sooner or later it'll pop, and that's what you're starting to see. I will tell you this, I've spoken to some big hedge funds, the big boys. And when the stock pops, let's say $5, $8 one day, jumps up like that, they're coming. They know about it, they're gonna come. They like, William, we described this before, they like to come in when the stock's in play. Correct, William? You wanna?
I don't know what you're asking me, but I think I agree with you. I think ringing the bell, number one, gives credibility. And when Finger goes and does its rounds with institutional investors, wow, it's a big deal. Secondly, I think as the stock starts to move into profitability, it's a lag to our quarters. They're about a quarter off and a year off, but in their second quarter, which I think might be our third quarter, they should see profitability and never look back. And that is kryptonite to the shorts. And I think in this case, the market will discount that event. In other words, it will bring that event forward to now. And there's going to be buying. I really think the Lynn Partners clients are in a lot of trouble in Finger.
Well, the one question I wanted you to answer is,
and I didn't answer
you
it.
made it before, you stated it before that when retail, our investment is time. And
yes. The arbitrage that retail does, we pick a story and we get in cheaper than hedge funds because we have the time to wait, or that's all we have. Go on, I'll let you finish the thought.
No, but that's the thought. You brought it up a couple of times, is that retail, we get the chance to get in early because we figure it out. We get manipulated, okay? Again, I bought my first shares in December of 2018 at 287. The stock is 365, whatever it is, 360, whatever it is. That's 5 years ago. Think about that. These criminals, the company was just getting the top-up business at that time. Now there's 7 businesses down the road, fully financed, and the stock is up 60 cents. Yeah. That's because of security fraud.
Yeah.
All right, that's the difference. But big hedge funds will come in once the game gets in motion. Once it's in motion, you see what happened with DJT, and they killed it down. It turned. The company stated they were talking to the officials about naked short selling, and the big boys came in and jammed it up to $50 almost.
They'd rather pay the big boys in this example, for example. They'd rather pay 100% more on the stock, or even 200% from here. Once the volume comes in and it's moving, then they know they can make money because their arbitrage is price, but they want to do it quickly, and they have the capital to play that at that time.
Yeah, they'll go in and out of a stock, like a DJT on a given day with it's the way it's moving now. They may trade it 30 times in a day.
Right.
Buy the dips, sell the rips, pulls back, buy it, sell it. They just keep doing it and doing it with options also. And that's what they're doing in NVIDIA and Tesla. It's the same type of patterns. When these things turn, they jump on them, they run them up, and then they turn and go the other way. That's that's their game, and they'll take it to the stars for us. Again, we don't have the firepower as a group to buy $50 and $100 stocks. 5 million shares a day, 10 million shares a day. Hedge funds come in; they have the money to do that. And if they could buy a stock of 50 and sell it at 80, they do it all day long. That's just the game. That's the way it goes. So once it gets into motion, I expect the big boys to come, because I've been speaking and pitching the story to big players for a while, and they come back with questions all the time. And it's getting close. I can see it popping up. This the DJT thing is really gonna expose these guys. They're all watching it. Trust me, it's getting close. I posted the story for Devin Nunes and Donald Trump about the hedge funds, U.S. soldiers, about buying a big fancy car while the soldiers get killed. This story was going back to 2008. Force protection. The symbol was FRPT. It was $30. They naked shorted it down to 2.5, and it was acquired by Northrop. I think it was NOC or maybe General Dynamics at $5.50. This company was making a V-shaped truck so that when it went over the mines would explode to the sides, versus a Humvee, which is a flat truck.
The IEDs, was that it?
They would go over and take out and blow up and take off all their legs. So someone naked shorted a military truck, a company that makes a military truck. I screamed to the high heavens. I called everyone I could. No one did anything back in the day. I gave Pat Byrne the details on it, and he wrote a nice story about it. It's pretty brutal because he shows the caskets of soldiers coming back on a plane after they were murdered or killed in battle. All right, you can see all the data's there. I posted it. Force protection. The company had earnings, everything, orders, and you can see the chart of fails to deliver where they destroyed it. It was just unbelievable, the amount. You can see it. I posted it there. Just look at the data from 2005 to 2008. It's right there. The stock was over 30, right? Just like I said. It just touched over 30, and they drove it all the way down to 2, and it was acquired at $5.60, something like that, in 2008. And I'm showing it to them because it is a military company, and if they can do it to a military company, could you imagine what else they're going to do it? Now, is the military company, was it tied to someone else that had another truck? They were trying to put these guys out of business. I don't want to get into that. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just use it as what I see. Whoever was doing it, I consider to be a terrorist, because who would want to harm our own military? I won't sit there and call them like guys like, Ken Griffin. I don't know if he was doing it back then. I can't remember 2008. But again, these guys were murdering a public company that was building trucks for the military to protect our soldiers. I don't know. I don't need any more proof. It's right there. It's an old story from 2008. I reposted it. I touched on the story with the share and tell guy, the guy from Morgan Stanley, give up his clients. I showed it. Force protection, that's for Dennis Nunes. And hopefully he can get that in front of Congress. We are hearing that the hearings are coming. I don't know what day it is. I've been hearing it all weekend. It's coming. So good for us, bad for them. And we have finally, after 24 years of fighting this stupid battle, I've been walking through the streets looking for my savior. I found William. I needed someone just a little more powerful than William. I found the dog, a cat, and then I found William. But William,
shuffling to the beat.
I don't want to kick you to the sides, but I think we got the big boys here, and I really think that this is going to happen. All right, Donald Trump knows it. He knows, from what I gathered, Devin Nunes, he is all in. They are all in. They communicate with the people we know 6 times a day. They're going over data. They're going over everything. Every story that we're giving, they're following. They understand it from 1980.
I also hope they understand that it's trillions of dollars that go offshore and no taxes paid.
Well, I don't want to jam the no taxes thing down their throat. I just try to show them the end game is,
All
zero.
right. All
But I
right.
guess, as they move along, when they come back and they ask that question, I will answer it. And we will get to the bottom of this and get them all
Makes
the answers.
sense. You
they
got to
need
hook
know.
them first.
Let's keep that quiet.
Yeah,
But
that's
is-
too
that is the
complicated.
motive. We're trying to make sure, but I believe, based on his comments on every news show, he's all in.
Cool.
You can see it yourself. If you think that these guys are not going the whole way, then you should sell whatever positions you have and run away. But to me, this is showtime. Find whatever you think your opportunity here to change your life. Find your stock, get involved, whatever it may be, and this is showtime. Because whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen big. All right.
This person is making me laugh. Antonio said, the only question on the SEC application for employment, do you have experience trading Yahoo?
Jeff Houston, yeah. I still can't believe that guy said that. But anyway, listen, he's a small time crook. Trump and Nunes are going big game hunting. I don't know why this guy Ken Griffin attacked them. I just don't understand it. Pat Byrne always said you can't go after Ken Griffin. He's the Fed. But I think the future president of the United States, I think he trumps the Fed here, and I think that he's gone down the wrong path here. He has $40 billion in his pocket. He's a bird brain to risk $40 billion to what? Make it up to $41 billion? What is he doing? He deserves now, okay, to go to jail like Bernie Madoff and the other guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, and all these other guys. What was the guy from New Jersey, the Chinese guy, Hong?
Bill
whatever his name.
Wang.
Yeah,
Bill
whatever
Wang.
his name. He had $15 billion. And guess what? They all tumble and they go to jail. This guy is on the road to jail. Only because if they do get to Congress and drag him in, the first thing they're going to say, do you have a short position in DJT? What's he going to say? If he says no and they check, he's dead. So either he's going to have to close his positions out, which I believe they're going to do. He's got to be short his little team of people, minimum 50 million shares. If it's 700 million, he's 50. I think it could be 100, 150 million, but I think that they will be trying everything in their power to close it out before he gets called. He should have just said when they got called out here, he should have just came out and said, hey, our firm acts, we operate within the boundaries of the law, and I will check my firm to make sure we don't have any positions in this name. And, if we do, we're going to clean it up. Boom. That's all he needed to say. But instead, he threw a cannonball at them, and now he's in a fight. And, Donald Trump likes to fight. And Devin Nunes he was on a intelligence committee. This guy knows everybody.
Exactly.
If you don't think they're going to call in favors here, you're out of your mind. He just jumped into the fight, and he was on Lou Dobbs, and Lou Dobbs gave him every chance to tell his story.
Imagine if he gets a congressional hearing.
I told you the hearing's coming.
Will it include MMTLP and FNGR?
I can't tell you that. I don't know.
And
I'm told it's going to benefit everyone. So Finger Motion is educating them on it. We're giving them all the data we need. It's going through the grapevine. It's going back. It's going uphill to them. And they're getting it.
Can you find out which of these stocks Nancy Pelosi is buying?
Listen, these people are all nuts. They've stolen so much money. I've never seen bank robbers keep going. If they made a big score, why would you keep going?
Is this how Rome fell? Is this how ancient civilizations in the Bible fell? This kind of financial greed? I mean, it's just out of control. No one cares about anything. I mean, it's insane.
that people don't respect each other. It's just crazy. People driving, it's just everything about life has gotten so crazy. I grew up in the city. I've been out all night long, like a dirty stay out, running around. We used to walk around 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. No fear. I don't want to drive in Midtown in the daytime. I told you I was on 29th Street. There were 200 migrants standing on 29th Street. It looked like an army. I don't think the police could get 10 cops there. They couldn't control it. You need 100 cops. You still couldn't control them. I mean, if they ever decide to get out of control, I mean, they've been saying it. I mean, everything's out of control. That's something else. I'm worried about financial. I'm here to secure my family. If you can figure out a way to secure your family, figure it out now. I've never felt stronger about what's going on. We're right at the end of the game here. We're on the 1 yard line. I've been on the 1 yard line plenty of times and got pushed back. We never had that big horse in Congress or someone to do this for us. I've spoken with the Secret Service. I've spoken with the FBI. Why don't they move or start arresting people? I don't know. They don't come back and tell you that. All right. I know that they're involved in the stocks. I know that, but what can I say? They just don't. Maybe someone above them is stopping them. It's so big. I told you 100 years ago, I went to Morgenthal's office in New York. He was the district attorney in New York.
Yeah.
And my friend who was holding the sign up, Wall Street Court counterfeiting, he was a federal officer. He took me in. And he told me point blank, when you go in here, they investigate you first. I said, no problem. I went right in with them. We went to Morgenthal's office. They came back to me 3 weeks later. They came with a bunch of questions. They came back and said it was above their head and they were told to stand down. That was the district attorney in New York. I mean, that's how crazy this was. That's probably 2006. And that was the highest guy in New York City at the time. So someone was trying to squash this the whole time and allow these guys to keep going on. But now it's showtime. Now we have the top guy in the game on our side. I can't say any more about what's going on. This is like so huge. This is the end for me. I really feel this is it. And like I said, I started with William and I'm ending with Donald Trump. Sorry, William, but I'll take Mr. Trump any day.
Well, I never claimed to have his.
I know you want
power.
your jacket. I know you want your jacket with all your medals on it, but we'll get it for you. But I just want financial freedom, and I want to move on from this nonsense. Enough of this trash and this garbage. It's just out of control. That these people just don't care. They don't care about anything. It's just remarkable that we have to fight for your investment. And no one. Where in the world did it say when you buy a stock, you got to sit and defend it 24/7?
Well, and that's exactly. And why should CEOs have a PhD in criminal short selling behavior?
Right. Most CEOs don't even understand what's going on.
No.
It's just crazy that these people are just out of control and they don't give a shit about anything. Companies, CEOs, they have no idea what to do. They have no idea. I've educated so many of them, and some of them just sit there and say, oh, I don't think I'm going to do that, like CELU. Guy's a neurosurgeon in a trauma center. He's working on infectious disease, and he took death spiral money from Yorkville. They murdered his stock. He reversed it, and they're murdering it again. And I told them they were going to do it, but guess what? He was more concerned about keeping his doors open, and that's all he cared about. And for that, he murdered his shareholders. And he was a spin-off of Biogen. That's a major, major pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, I remember it.
And they couldn't kill us. And the guy his investors got slaughtered. And at the end of the day, what's going to happen? The investors got slaughtered, and he's just going to start over again. And that's what he's doing. And that's what they do. They start over again. Okay, we just murdered
And
everybody.
they
Start over
always
again.
do the throwaway line. Well, you shouldn't have invested in the over-the-counter markets. Like it's our fault. You know, they always blame it on that. You know.
They always say that. They always say that. You should never invest in these small caps. You don't know what you're doing. Stay away. You'll never get hurt by an IBM, which is down 20 the other day. Oh, just go buy IBM. You'll be fine. Right? Oh, it's down 20. Do you give me my money back? Is that what that means? No. That's why I always tell everyone. People reach out to me and say, well, my broker said I shouldn't buy this stock. Oh, just go buy IBM. Don't worry, it will never go down. Oh, when it goes down, they'll give you money back? He goes, no. I says, well, what is it their business? What stock do you buy? Listen, I spoke to a guy in the park the other day who I played pickleball with, and he wanted to buy Finger Motion, and his broker told him, he's a very wealthy man, his broker told him that, he doesn't know anything about the company, you shouldn't buy it. He came to me today because I told him it was like 250 and now it's 350. He goes, my broker, I says, just get another broker. What are you listening to him for? He's an idiot. He doesn't know anything about it. I told you I studied this one. All right. And I, just showed you that his broker talked this guy out of buying the stock. So I saw him today and I told him it's not too late. Do what you have to do. Get another broker. I don't know who your broker is, but he's probably talking you out of winners and just putting you into losers, because anybody would say that and not respect the client is, it's just moronic. But that's what we come across that all the time, William. People do that all the time.
Blame the victim. But
the brokers can't pick stocks anymore.
They don't know.
Knows this. The brokers have no idea. I have a friend, I think he manages $3 billion in managed money. He was a broker. All he did was raise money, union money, pension money, and he puts it with Morgan Stanley, and he works through Morgan Stanley. And I say, Ira, what do you think of the market? He goes, I don't give a shit as long as it doesn't go down. Because he gets a percentage, he gets an override, that's all he cares about. He just raises money, goes to meeting, gets someone to come in with, $100 million, a big pension, he puts it in there, and they manage it, and he gets paid. That's it. He has no
Well,
idea.
that's one interesting thing about that. At some point, it becomes self-fulfilling. It becomes a feedback loop for two reasons. People see their profit, their results, they add money, but also as dividends come in and income comes in, it goes back into those same stocks and it keeps going up, but it won't last forever. People have to know what they're doing to charge these fees, these so-called management fees.
Right.
It's all about assets under management. And
I'm just saying, but the people that are Wall Street, they don't exist anymore. Very few people are brokers that can pick stocks. Firms don't want them to do it. They don't want them to do any of that.
No. And they're going to get their comeuppance. Their uppance will come, as Stewie on Family Guy says, when AI takes over for real brokers, because it will. It will. How hard is it? How hard is it to say, well, Mr. Client, you should move your dividends from the such and such to the Merrill Lynch Income Plus Bust Fund, and we can do that today. All right. How hard is it? Just get a computer to do it.
Right. That's what they do. And I keep trying to tell people that brokers don't know anymore.
They don't know anything.
They're not allowed to do it. They just manage money. So speaking to brokers, what we are talking about is so frontline, so detailed, such a study on one stock that I don't think you can find this information anywhere. You don't have to buy it. I really don't give a shit if you could buy it or not. I could care less. But no brokerage firm, call your broker up. They have no idea. There's zero. How do you know there's a short? That's the first thing they say. Well, I don't know. I never heard of making shorts. That's the second thing they say. And they're advising clients to do other things. That's all. I'll just buy more Apple. You're not going to go poor buying Apple. You're never going to get rich, but you're not going to go poor.
Where's Bensonhurst? Where's Bensonhurst? This guy's saying that you're from Bensonhurst, so he can relate. I don't
I'm
know.
from Bensonhurst.
You are? I don't know what is Bensonhurst. Sounds
You
like
don't
a
wanna go
deli.
there. You don't want to go there.
It sounds
We
like
don't
a
want
German
We
deli.
don't want you guys. We don't want you guys in our neighborhood.
This guy's name is
KYP
Keith.
knows Benson. KYP knows Bensonhurst. She
This
doesn't.
this guy, his last name I don't want to say out loud, but his name is Keith AZZ. But anyway, his first name is Keith. I don't know.
There's a group of guys here on the phone that my buddies from Brooklyn. They're from 18th Avenue in Brooklyn. That's a different crew.
Are you
You know,
the
so there's different avenue. Every little section it changes. You know, you go from this avenue. There's the 18th Avenue guys. There's the Bath Avenue guys. The Mill Basin guys. There's all different types of people. And that's not far. I'm talking 10 minutes away from each other.
Are you the ones that a bunch of you get together going down the street banging baseball bats and calling out the other side or something?
I've seen some interesting things. I can tell you that. I used to own a nightclub, and I think it was 3:00 in the morning. And the gentleman from Bensonhurst probably knows it. I won't tell him where I'm from exactly, but it was 3. In New York the bars stay open to 4, so I was there late. Closing the bar up on my night. I was closing on Thursday or Tuesdays, I forgot. And there's like 7 guys in the bar drinking like at 3:45. Most people are gone. I had 3 very, 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 very dangerous guys at my front door. And these 6 or 7 guys were sitting 2 all over the bar, just having a drink. We say, hey, we're closing up. These guys all pulled out guns and dropped the name of a different gang from a different neighborhood.
Oh my God.
So I'm standing in a bar with 6 guys with guns, or 7, and my guys with guns, and I'm standing in the middle of the whole thing.
And you went to get your shoebox, your shine box.
After I fainted.
Yes, sir. I'll be right back.
Well, I was the owner, so I was right in the forefront there. And what happens is
What happened that night? Did you have
what
to
happens
shut up?
is the next day you have a meeting, and they call it a sit down, and that team versus our team, and they figured out that who we were and who they were, and that ended that. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But it was interesting when everybody started pulling out guns. I said, okay, this is interesting.
What's that line you always quote when he shuts the door and locks it? Now you're not leaving?
Yeah, that's what it was, like the Bronx Tale. Yeah. Now you can't leave. That's what it was.
Now you
Listen,
can't leave. That's it. Yeah.
We're in Brooklyn. We were brought up the school of hard knocks. That's how it went. And I was taught, and that's why I don't give up, as my dad taught me and my friends taught me, no one steals your money. Now, plenty of people have stolen my money, and I tried to get it back, and I got knocked back because I wasn't allowed to fight back. But I went as far as I can, as many times as I can, and sometimes you run into powerful people, and you can't win at that point. But I'll give you another quick story. At the club one night, some guy calls up, and I knew 1,000, 2,000 people, and he said he had a horse race, and I should bet on him. And I said, I don't bet on horses. And he comes back and says, hey, I bet 2,000 on the horse for you. You owe me 2,000. He goes, I'm coming down to pick it up. So I round up a few friends when he came in. That ended that. He was left without the 2,000, but he gave it a shot. But that's you learn. That's how it goes. I've seen it all.
So Jenny just pointed out that Robinhood has started trading 24 hours a day. Nothing can go wrong there. That's not
24 hours a day. They can't settle a trade in the regular day. Are you kidding me?
And David's pointing out, did CNBC talk about Republic Bank going down? I don't watch the show, but
CNBC is worthless, has been for years. These guys, listen, if you could just see Kramer telling everybody that he can manipulate stocks as a hedge fund. I mean, it's just remarkable. And that he's still on TV. You guys don't remember this, but Kramer went public with his company called TheStreet.com.
Yeah.
TSCM was the symbol.
Yeah.
He went public as an IPO by Goldman Sachs at $71, 70 something dollars. It went from 70 something to zero. It was complete trash. And that's what I'm trying to tell you about Reddit. It's the same pattern. These companies are not worth it. They can't grow anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And it went to zero. All right, that's what I see going on with Reddit. Where's it going to go? They're going to make money off of people posting on a message board. You know, when the stock market is brutal as this, who's really want to waste their time posting on Reddit? Give me a break. The 5 people posting there can only post so much, and then try to run ads off of it. Eventually, it'll fail. That same thing happened with TheStreet.com. TheStreet.com came out, then CBS Market Watch came out, and all these guys are fighting each other, and it's basically, where they're going. The end game is over. But the guy sitting there in this video with Aaron Task telling you how he manipulates the stocks. Yeah, you're a hedge fund, you need to make some money, you got to do some crazy things, and you just sell it, borrow it. He says it right in the video.
He did a video with that Altucher guy. It said it all.
James. No,
Yeah.
that wasn't James. No,
Oh, it wasn't him. It just looked like him. But yeah, he admits everything. Arrogant guy.
The other guy you just mentioned, James Altucher, is a great guy.
Yeah. I signed up for his service for a couple of years. I like him.
He's a great guy. I've worked with him before. A great guy, smart as shit.
Yeah, he's really smart. I agree.
He's a chess master. He's one of those guys who goes to the park and plays like 25 people at the same time. That's how smart that guy is.
Yeah, he kind of blows you away, but
yeah, he's not easy to follow. I didn't say that. He
think
come from my side of the world. I can tell you that.
I think Gretchen Morgensen said that you're not so dumb or something like that. So you've got that going for you.
I got to get that email again and pull it up and put it up there.
You're not dumb. So anyway, Eric is saying hi. Eric and Anthony met us in that, hotel, that really nice place with the other investors when you came into New York and I came up.
Upstate New York, the upstate New York.
Yeah, the upstate New York guys. Yeah.
They said they're from New York. I said, where? They said, yes, you're not from New York. You're from the mountains. Get out of here. They're great guys. They made it sound that they lived on 42nd Street.
So he's saying hi and thank you and wishing us good luck. And then Richard Hoffman, I got to find it. Richard Hoffman is going to have a live Wednesday night. I got to find it to make sure I don't want to get it wrong.
Listen, that guy is. I speak to him daily, and he's doing everything to help us and GTII. Let him handle it.
The key is sign in after the first 2 or 3 minutes. You won't have to hear the cornball jokes.
Yeah, if you can listen, you can get over. He should make it that you have to listen to those things. It's like being stuck in the with like Woody Allen in the hole with an insurance salesman.
You have to turn to the camera and start talking to it because it's so bad.
No, listen, listen, Richard, his mom was a survivor from Auschwitz. I mean,
I know.
You got
she stood out. Man, she left the prison either at age 13 or at age 16 or 19. Can't remember, but she stood out there. She had no one. She had nowhere to go. No one. When I heard that story, it just, oh my gosh, breaks your heart.
It's just amazing. And you know what? It's just, you listen to it. It's just, what a story. And, I think his mom has passed and now we have Richard and, he's an attorney and I'm sure, I don't know his whole family's history, but think about, she survived the most horrible thing ever.
I mean, think about kids getting left at college. Their parents don't pick them up, or they don't have a vacation to go on. They're upset. Imagine coming out of that hell and nowhere to go.
Right.
Ah, anyway,
And
he's doing a live stream with Kristen Shaughnessy on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is can't miss. Do not miss TV.
that's those are the smart people talking. This is you got the street talker here. This is a very different. Those are very educated people. I come from a different, completely
I think
different
he went
world.
to Harvard.
Yeah, I agree. I went to Harvard, the School of Hard Knocks. You know, I tried not to get hit with the baseball bat when everybody was fighting. I had a duck. I was quick at ducking. But smart people, good people, and they both educated themselves. They both understand the crime, and without, listen again, without everyone doing a little bit, this is overwhelming. I've been doing this for a long time. Trust me, I've fought as hard as I can, but you need people to join with us. And I actually put up a video of a friend of mine, Dave Patch. It's on Twitter.
I remember he wrote that long letter.
Right. Dave Patch is the one that wrote the loophole.
Yeah.
He had a site called Investigate the SEC. If you think any of us are tough, I met Dave and my friend Bill in Boston. I told the story. I'll tell it again. It's the craziest story. I was going to Boston to see the Rolling Stones. My friend Bill had tickets. He asked me to sit down and speak to his friend Dave. Dave loves to fight. I told him the story about naked short selling. It's counterfeiting. We had a couple of drinks. Bill gave me the tickets for the concert. We walked to the Fleet Center. They put me in. I went in the door at the end of the block, and we said goodbye. Nice meeting you. I'll get in touch with you. I gave the tickets in. They walked me down and threw me out at the next corner. I had a counterfeit ticket. I said, I just told you guys about counterfeits. You gave me counterfeit tickets. And that's how I met Dave Patch. And he joined the fight. He understood it. And he fought for years. And you know what? His health kicked in. He had, I think he had a heart attack, and I think he was almost getting divorced. Great, great, great guy. Pat Byrne knows him well. And that's why I keep trying to tell people, for some strange reason, death has passed over me. I'm here. I'm here to help fight for all the people that bowed out. And there's been many people that bowed out. Two of my friends died, one of cancer, one of a heart attack. And I'm still fighting. Their families, they were here fighting with me and protested in Times Square with me at the NASDAQ in 2006. My friend Phil came out of the subway with his own sign with his girlfriend, and she was a backup singer for Stevie Nicks. I didn't even know these people. That's when I met that crazy guy, Darren, that you saw. They talked about in the Mark Falk's first video. I found that guy, Darren, walking around. I still remember his stock Biogen. I mean, I knew all these people. And, we took over and we put everybody together and we tried our best all the years. And we thought we had them in 2006 when they did the grandfather. The reg show, but they left all the loopholes in here, and that's all the loopholes of what you're seeing today that still exist. Anything, William?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of talking. All good. A lot of Italians on the call. I'm just looking for something good to.
For anybody from Brooklyn, every Friday night we used to go to, I think the restaurant was called Calero's on, I think it was 86th Street. It was such a big thing for our family to go out on Friday night. And after I had my dinner, I was always allowed to get a tortoni, which is a specialized Italian ice cream we used to always get. It was like, if I got that, it was like Christmas.
What's it called?
Excuse me?
What?
Tortoni.
Tortoni?
It was
Okay.
like, yeah, it was a vanilla ice cream, a little cup with shaved coconut on top of it. So
Oh, I
it looked
love
like
it.
a
Sounds
coconut.
great.
Yeah, it was great. It was like a, it was like an ice cream, a coconut ice cream bar, but it was in a cup.
Sounds great.
And if we got that, we were like kings. That's it. Everyone in my family, my kid, my brothers, we all loved it. But what else, William?
I'm trying. There was somebody else said something. I'm trying to find it.
But the
But-
people from Brooklyn, let me just tell the people
Yeah, yeah.
from Brooklyn, I used to own a Circles restaurant. So that guy from Bensonhurst would know that. I used to own Circles restaurant.
Not legal advice. Thinks that Gretchen is wrong about you.
That's what I said, Richard. I went back to it. Did you sure you got the right person? William, the only one that has this spin on it that is positive. Richard. We always said it the other way.
Oh gosh.
We used to tell him, do me a favor, check. Are you okay?
Don Fizz is on. He says hello to you. He's the guy that has your.
I know
He has your kind of
Don,
energy. He sends 1,500 emails every hour to Congress and follows up with a phone call the next half hour.
He has the ammunition that he needs right in front of him. Just go, show him Devin Nunes, reach out, pound him in the head. You gotta go get him. And go back to that guy from Texas. What was that guy's name? I forgot his name.
That's Pete Sessions.
Right. Go to his office. His name is on the letter from Devin Nunes. Go to him. Say, hey, Big Mouth.
I met with Pete.
We taught you.
I met with Pete Sessions about 5 weeks ago for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour. And I personally think the way to approach Pete Sessions is as simple as this. Do you want to leave Congress? Do you want to leave the financial markets better for your being here? After you leave, do you want to leave I'm losing my ability to speak. But the point is, after you're here, you leave it better. That's his whole psychology. So he does. I think he wants to leave it better.
But you know what? Rome was built fast. Just come out and say something. The MMTL people have been breaking.
Rome also burned down more. It took a while to burn down too.
Let's build it first, then we can build it. We can burn it down. But again, I don't like people that don't act. You're not walking in. This gentleman's wasting his life running to DC for everybody, and he's sitting here going down.
Well, in fairness, there's some other people working pretty darn
well.
hard.
Again, I don't know the
And
I'm just saying that. Yeah, I got it.
My favorite is Anna, Queen of Trade. She's gone in on her own dime and hard work. Anyway, let's see if we can find another question for you that's good. Rolling Stones Friday at the Jazz Festival? No. How many Stones are left alive anyway?
They're still around. I may go. They're still playing. I think they started in Houston. I was going to go down and see my friends in Oppenheimer down there, but Rex Christian's down in Houston.
You know who's coming to DC on the 12th? Neil Young. I can't imagine the only concert I'd least want to go to less than that one would be Bon Jovi. Ugh, the two of them. I went to a Bon Jovi concert once. I was invited. I got there late, so I saw 2 songs. It was the longest concert I've ever been to in my life. Ugh, horrible. Those 2 songs would never end.
Go to a Bruce Springsteen concert. You're wrong on those. I'm sure that was longer.
I went to Bruce Springsteen. I never wanted it to end. But Bon Jovi, I wanted it over with. Oh, my God. Anyway, that's a long time ago. I can't think of a song Bon Jovi sings.
I'm just thinking that the only thing you probably do enjoy is the opera.
I like the opera. I'm one of the few that do.
My aunt was an opera singer. She used to sing all the time.
You got to go to the Italian opera.
I always wanted to go to Vienna to the opera there.
That'd be fun. I'd like to go to the one in, I read the book about it written by the guy that wrote about the Lusitania. What was the name of the book? Anyway, the one in Florence that burned down. I would love to go to one of those.
Well, listen, my goal is to clean up naked short selling and then go to a Purple Disco concert. That's all I want to do. Whether it's in Ibiza, whether it's in Germany, wherever it is, that's what I want to do.
Do you know Kings Park Highway?
I know Kings Highway or something.
Kings Park Highway, Kings Highway in Brooklyn. Not legal advice. His aunt lived there.
On Kings Highway?
Yeah.
You live right by the mall, right? That's where you live, by the mall?
This guy wants to know if the ringing of the bell will make the stock go up. Well, not that night. It will have stopped trading at the time we ring the bell.
Listen, let's get back to that for a second so I can get people to go. It's Sunday night. Listen, the ringing of the bell is an important thing for a public company. Not many companies, I've never even heard of, I never knew about it, that people rang the bell at the NASDAQ, because I still don't know, the NASDAQ doesn't have a trading floor, it's all virtual. So ringing the bell for the NASDAQ, for a small company that's made it to the NASDAQ, qualified the NASDAQ, and then the NASDAQ approves them to ring the bell, I guess that's a big deal, showing you that the company is real versus the capybara fake report, right?
Absolutely. And imagine if he has some, and I'll find out, I'm sure, but imagine if he has some meetings lined up with investors and big hedge fund, institutional. And then you have that in the publicity, boom, boom. That's two impressions. When you're trying, I'm on a board of a company, and we went to this public, this PR firm who I introduced. Anyway, the president of that said, if you want a story, if you want investors to buy, if you want big money to come in, you've got to make that story hit that person's brain 7 times before they act, on average. Well, ringing the bell's one of those impressions, boy, and it's big.
Listen, what I'm trying to say is that when you invest in a company, I'm here for naked. I've been here for the fundamentals, but now I'm really fighting the naked shorts, and it's gotten so crazy and out of control that the naked short has taken over what the company's fundamentals are. Most of us aren't fixed on the fundamentals, but when they try to hold the stock down, the fundamentals are worth more than where the stock is. So, let's say the floor is, I'll just make a number up. Let's say the floor is $7, $6, whatever. Who the hell's trying to sell it, trying to break it below 3 every day? Doesn't make any sense.
Do you want to talk about the stock that begins with the letter at the end of the alphabet? I promise not to mention it, but if you want to.
Yes, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
DJYL, I'm hearing it's going to go. They're getting all their shares out. Interactive Brokers has been a pain in the ass. They had to get legal to do it. When it goes, they still believe it's going to 100. 100. I guess if you go back pre-split, it's much higher than that. What is that? 100? What's it times 20? It's got to be 2,000, right? I guess.
Yeah.
So be happy it goes to 50 or 60. Let them take it to 100 and get out when you want. When that goes, GDC is going to go. I paid $380 for GDC, and I'm sucking wind. I got in too early. The stock went straight down. I'm assured that don't panic. It's going to go, and I'm sitting back waiting. Not happy about it, but what can I say?
Well, that question came up. What's going to make that second one, which I've also said I wouldn't talk about?
It's the same people. That's pretty easy to figure out. If finger motion goes, for that gentleman who just asked that question, what stock do you think we're going to try to move? What do you think we're going to buy next? That's the answer.
Jenny is joining the terrible joke scene. She said, "Did you hear about the opera singer who threw out the opening ball on the first day of baseball. They said he had perfect pitch.
Oh my God.
It's so bad. But all of a sudden, Richard Hoffman's asking for Jenny's phone number. They want to trade jokes.
Oh God, they're gonna put themselves each other to sleep listening to those jokes. Hey, William, everyone, I found the perfect thing to entertain everybody. Go to YouTube, and there's a guy called Vegas Max. I think his name is Max. So I think it's Max.
Oh, you were saying, yeah.
I sat the other night for 2 hours with a glass of wine and watched this idiot play slots, putting $10,000 in a 5-cent slot machine. And he bets the max amount on a 5 cents, which is like $30 or $37 a spin. And I watched this idiot go from 10,000 to 2,000, back up to 15,000, back to 7. But I kept watching it because it was like a movie. I wanted to see how it ended. I kept watching it, and I watched this idiot roll it in every spin on a slot machine for 2 hours. And I said, I'm losing my marbles if I'm doing that. And I don't even play the slots. I just did it. It caught my attention. I started looking at it. And it's like a movie. How's it going to end? I want to know if he's going to win. And the guy has 500,000 people following him, spinning a slot machine, watching a slot machine spin. But I have to tell you, it's entertaining to watch this maniac play. He's playing with big money. It's just insane how crazy it is. But it's something interesting. So if you have trouble sleeping, get a glass of wine and watch this idiot. If you think we're nuts, look at this guy.
Well, you'll be there. You'll be when you're 80. You'll have a live YouTube stream while you're betting on pickleball.
That's what he does. He streams it. I make 500,000 people following a guy spinning, playing slots. I'm like, oh my God, society is crazy. But that's what we're doing.
A day in the life of Ham, and you'll have 100,000 people watching.
Listen, when this is over, bon voyage. I'm out of here. Could kill us. This is too crazy for me. And I think I got my get out of jail card. Mr. Trump has come into it, and like I said before, we got the most powerful guy in the world, and he's got the same crazy mindset as I do. And I can just feel it, and I can see Nunes is acting the same way, and he's being aggressive. And the worst part about him, he's super, super smart. He was on the intelligence committee, and he's going to press the bet. He put his foot in, and he's all in, meaning he's not going to stop. And I'm told the hearings are coming. I don't know if Don Fizz is going to be down in D.C. Hopefully he's going to be there when it happens. He can get his ass in.
I'm going to go in there, I'm going to get a picture with the janitor, and I'm going to put it on Twitter. No, I'm kidding. Right. But he'll be there, I'm sure.
I do believe Nunes is all in. He communicates with our people. If people don't understand that, our people. So we're very close to hearing all this stuff. All right. We're educating that team as fast as we can.
The gentleman's name apparently is Vegas Matt. Vegas.
That's
Matt.
It, something like that. Whatever his name is. So someone else is watching it. I'm not the only lunatic.
Scott's welcome to his opinion, but I don't think Richard is a CCP plant trying to destroy our brain cells. Let's see. People are asking about one stock, but guys, this call and tomorrow and probably maybe Tuesday for me, Tuesday during the day, is all about finger. And life is like that. Sometimes it's you dance with the stock that's working. And if you look at the action in finger, last year, during the middle of last year, Finger was moving. There was action. Personally, I turned quiet, or at least cautious, I think August, September, I don't remember. You know, if you were listening to me. But about 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago here, I said Finger's starting to look good. I didn't have the money to do anything. But around 220, maybe it was longer, 7 weeks. Anyway, I wish I had money to move, but Finger is, again, the market is telling you there is interest in Finger. These bastards at Lind Partners, their clients are in trouble. And, you know, when one works, this is about making money. It's not about winning on one stock. It's about making money. When one of these works, the others are going to work. And
Well, if you look at it, William, I told you last week DJT at 22 was going to go, right?
You did.
And you know what? It's about making money. I don't have the money to play anymore. I'm fully invested. I'm out. So, but I'm just saying that you can tell when they're going to go. The writing is on the wall, and that's when you have to jump at it. You make your own decisions again. If you think I'm looking at it, finger motion, I'll just present what I see. They're going to New York. They're presenting. They're ringing the bell.
God.
I'm sure they're going to have meetings set up. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Here's,
You
go ahead.
No, again, you made me.
I have a joke for you tomorrow when you play pickleball, when you walk on the court. Ham, this is from Jenny. This is from Jenny. Ham, what do you call, what's the name of a woman standing in the middle of a pickleball court?
Yeah, I'm blind.
Annette. So next time you walk on the court, you see a woman, call her Annette. I don't know.
That's okay. I have enough problems on the pickleball court. I'll just give you a pickleball story. Today I played with a friend of mine that was excellent. He came in second in Del Rey in his division. Excellent player. Me and him at the courts. He looked, he says, come on, let's go out there. We play together. We got our asses kicked by two stupid guys. We can't play together. We both trying to hog the ball. We just couldn't do it. I'm better off playing by myself than playing with the better player. So it just shows you can't win all the time. You can't stack a team is what I'm trying to say.
All right. So Lion of all trades has been loyal and following things. He's got a live stream tomorrow, 8 p.m. Lion of all trades.
Post it up and I'll follow it. People, listen, this is, if you have, it's very hard to find stocks that are very detailed for years. Most people don't follow the same stock for an hour. I've been following it for 5 years. I'm not proud of it, but you know what? I'm here. I'm not, I could have jumped around 50 times and I said, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I don't want to do that. I leave. I'd rather go outside. The weather's beautiful out. I'm not going to sit at a computer all day. I don't want to do it anymore. I did it for a long time. And I did very well at it. I just don't care about it anymore. So I made my bed. This is where I'm going to be. Never thinking that I was going to have to fight 5 years with a company that I knew was growing. I could see it. And I never followed companies. That's not my thing. My thing was trading, not investing. So to find something that I thought would, you just say the word China and stocks will go up. This company is all over China. And it's everything is for sale. How much stock? There's only 25 million shares in the floor. How many times can they sell it? The selling never stops.
Well, the other thing about Finger, which I know for a fact because I sat with him 3 different times over 2 days, the CEO of Finger will never do a deal with Lind Partners again. He's polite, but I'm telling you, he will never do a toxic convertible note. He will never help the shorts out. The shorts are FUCKED in Finger.
Well, they learned their lesson and they were lucky All right, they were lucky that I knew people that could help them out, and I put them together.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
that invested and raised a lot of money for them, and they raised money for them at much. I told you, my friend gave me $3.5 million at 10. He averaged down. His average isn't that high, but this company raised a lot of money to pay back Lynn, and Lynn wouldn't take back the money. That just tells you how bad they are.
Did the
Lynn won't
Rolls
take the money
Royce
back.
or the Bentley have an 8-piston engine? That big. That's what Finger is. It's got 8 pistons running. 8 pistons running. And any one of them could move that car down the highway.
That's the craziest analogy I ever heard, but it's a good one. Okay.
I don't know. It's late at night.
Are you drinking from the toilet bowl tonight, William? You
Yeah.
okay?
I
Are you in the?
had to put my dog over at the pound for the week, and I have to get up early, so I'm out of it.
All right. Well, listen, I don't want to keep everybody all night again. Listen, we have the most powerful guy in the world. Love him, leave him. I couldn't give a rat's ass. This is about finance. We're here to make money. He's gonna expose the biggest fraud in American history. I put it up 1,000 times. I've been saying it for years. We've been looking for the Battle of Gettysburg. This is it. This is the final fight. If Trump can't get it done, I'm done. That's it. I can't fight this. I can't fight this battle by myself. We have great people in DC on MMTLP. Look how hard it is for them.
Yeah.
They've been locked down, shut down. People, no one wants to sign to get a subpoena just to get the information that they're all hiding.
On the other hand, I know behind the scenes from the hard work like Don's doing, like Anna's doing, like Junk Savvy, Busy Brand, we are getting some purchase on the Hill too. So we'll get there. We're not quitting. We're not quitting.
Listen, time is a killer. We need to move faster. I hear it in the voices of
That
people
sounds like
going
a
on the
trader's advice, and you're 100% right. In the stock market, time is a killer. That is absolutely
every
true.
day. People lose patience. Listen, I've known people when the stock spiked, they wanted to fight the naked shorts. The stock spikes, they sold it. I never heard from them again.
Yeah.
And these are good people. I've talked to them every day. When the stock was $1, $2, $3, they fought every day. Here's my cousin, talk to him. They did everything. The stock went to 10, never heard from them again. And I can't blame them.
I can't blame them either in retrospect, but on the other hand, to me anyway, I don't want to get in that debate, but I think GTI was in the middle of a squeeze. Finger, it looked like it was. We can get there again. It was hard to sell.
I'm just saying that people jump into the fight. They want to fight, which I can't thank them enough. But then they move on. And you know what? The fight's still going on. And their families, their children, their grandkids, if this doesn't end, you're all going to be robbed. So you can sit here and fight. We're not fighting. We're not killing anybody. We're not shooting anybody. We're just trying to expose a fraud. They're very different. If I had to say to everybody, go out, you got to meet me tomorrow in the corner, bring your guns. We're going to go kill people or maybe get killed. That's a different fight. This fight is for financial freedom. You're trying to save your family, make your life better. We're only here a certain amount of time. And I don't want to keep everybody fighting this battle for 100 years. It has to happen now. It's showtime. Whatever you can do, retweet, Nunes, Lou Dobbs, any reporter you can't get. DJT is the most powerful name on the street. And they're trying to take his money away. Every time the stock ticks down, Donald Trump loses $1 billion, up $1 billion. They're not paying attention to it. They're just trying to show you. They want people to understand that he's losing. That's the political nonsense. I'm not here for the political nonsense. This guy stepped into the arena. That's my arena, and we need to expose this and end it and kill these murderers that are counterfeiting shares. These guys need to go to jail. And the subject, the SEC, the stock market will be a better place if they don't have these criminals around. That's it, and it'll be good for your kids. college kids getting out. How can you tell them to invest in the stock market? It's all fraud. People ask me all the time. I said, you're nuts. Don't buy crypto. Get lost. You're nuts. I would never tell anybody to put their money there.
You're not following this stock, but you might return a favor. A lot of people are asking about it. The CEO, her name is, it's not CEO, it's like prime executive or something out of Canada for DBMM. Maybe you could speak to what she did to help us on against the Kramers.
I spoke with her. She's brilliant. She's a very honorable woman. I didn't understand. She wanted to make sure she cleaned up everything they destroyed on her, and she fought. And she told me that their prime broker was Alpine.
Yeah.
And we fought against them, and we had the stock squeezing. It was going. Alpine came in and just naked shorted without any money. They were free riding, and they got busted by the depository trust. And I said it every day on my calls. There's got to be a red light going on because there has to be a margin call somewhere. And there was. And the prime broker got busted by the DTC for letting all the clients free ride. That's what they did. If you keep selling, eventually the stock is going to go down, right? They just kept selling.
There's a lot of questions, and it's just unavoidable. Tomorrow is the 29th. I don't understand why that's a big deal, but apparently the dividend on GTII is due tomorrow. I personally think it's irrelevant, but hey, I'm the idiot.
I don't know.
So
I can't listen. Listen, the company issues the dividend.
All right.
The dividend was not here to make anybody wealthy. So get over it already.
Yeah.
It was a trick to expose the stock settlement system, not to make anybody money. I don't know what to tell you. That's all it was done for. These are tricks. The tricks are here to expose the shorts. That's it. Nothing else. Not to make you money. No one gives a shit about us. We need to force settlement. How are you going to force settlement? We can't just keep buying it because they just keep selling it to us. And the government is a disgrace because they know we put the truck there 13 times. I've been very prominent. GTI, we put it in the Southern District. We put Charlie Mayo's phone call there. What else do you want me to say? I can't do anything else. The government knows what GTI is. They know. I can't stand up and defend GTII at the level we're at now. You can't go in front of everybody and the CEO doesn't have a business. He has nothing. So until he puts something in here, Richard is working on that. When he puts something in here, it turns on a dime because there's 10 deals that want to go in here. But no one wants to go in with a bunch of people that are 80 to 90 years old.
You know,
how many people want to go have their grandfather get him out of bed? He's 80-something years old and tell him he's got to go to work today.
We're not giving up when something gets going and it's time to talk about that company. We'll talk about Finger.
William, for the people on the call, both calls, we are not giving up. We just can't do anything. We do not control anything within the company.
You can't.
That's it. There's nothing else I can say. I cannot present GTII to Donald Trump's people as a company that should be the top company against naked short selling. It's a big short. We all know that. In due time, it'll come up. I can't throw it out there now. Finger Motion happens to be the most prominent company. It actually has better fundamentals than DJT. DJT is just building its business, and they have losses. Finger Motion is going into the black. They've been through all the hard knocks already. It doesn't have $200 million in the bank, all right? But it doesn't need $200 million. It has a major short. It has business. It's on the NASDAQ. It's growing, and it's getting Donald Trump's company merged into a shell. A very different thing. So, but these guys are so powerful. Their names are so powerful, they can get things done. So I'm trying to present to them a company that's a good company, that's going the right direction. And this has a short of 220 million shares. If we could show the debenture, the toxic lender, we could show the whole thing. It's an easy story.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm presenting. When we kill him here, then we come back. What else can I say? That's it.
I'm bored with these jokes. What do you call a committee made up entirely of people named William? A billboard.
That's a good one. Anyway, listen, I don't want to keep everybody. It's Sunday night. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, William. You get in around 11, and I'll be in Midtown, so I'll try to reach out to you between my meetings. And for those who don't know, I'm going to see hedge funds tomorrow.
What can you serve? What can you serve but not eat? A pickleball. It's
all right, you're losing me. I'm gonna go watch the guy with slots.
My opponent.
3 hours of a guy putting $10,000 and paying 5 cent slots and hitting the jackpot for 20,000.
My opponent wasn't too happy with my serve. He kept returning it.
That's a good one. I played against a guy today who was one of those cyclists. He had a little bicycle helmet on, not a helmet, the hat, the little brim, like he was riding in the Tour de France. And he was playing, skinny guy. They always had that same shape. And I was on the other side. I blasted at him. He was like, he shit his pants. I hit it so hard. And he's like, I told him, I said, and you're standing there, I'm going to hit it. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Get ready.
Scott, the dividend isn't automatic after a year. What happens after a year is the 144 restrictions don't matter.
There is no restriction on it. I don't even.
Yeah, I know. That's the point. They sent out a letter. The legend should have been lifted. We shouldn't even be talking about it. But they've got us all talking about Rule 144. Rule 144 is 12 months.
All right, so it's 12 months. So call your broker up. William's been trying to get it every day, like everyone else is.
I'm never going to get it, but I'll keep calling.
They just keep lying to us, saying, well, you need this, you did that. The company's not doing this. They just listen. It's their ball. It's their game. What are you supposed to say? We have the most powerful guy in the world that's helping us out.
So this guy wants you to explain, and I think it shows that maybe he's new. Does Donald Trump own 60% of the shares?
I believe, yes.
And so he can't sell them for 6 months. Then the shorts are only using the 40% of the float. But no, they're creating counterfeit shares. But anyway, it's hard.
They created 700 million more shares in that company.
Right.
There's only 45 million shares in the company.
Right.
They've sold 700 million shares, and now they attached it to the 45 million.
Right.
So all the poor people that are Trump followers that want to believe in him and whatever, they all bought 1,000 shares, like GameStop. They all bought it, and it's just a waterfall. But now a congressional hearing will get these big counterfeiters in here, Ken Griffin, Virtue, and those big boys that are here. And now they're going to get called in. And when they get called in, because these guys have tremendous clout, okay, in DC. We have zero clout in DC. They have tremendous clout. When they call you up and they drag you in on the hearing, you're going to have to show what positions you have in your firm. And I'm sure they're going to have the SEC bent over because they're going to have to answer it. They won't answer to MMTLP or Charlie Payne yelling at them or whatever. They have to answer to Nunes, his people, Jim Jordan, and these bulldogs that are going to get the answers. They can't snowball Donald Trump and Nunes. They can't do it. That's not going to happen. If you think they're going to snowball them, then get the hell out of whatever stocks you own and run away, because then just turn around and short whatever it is, because the whole market's going to crash. This can turn the market around. Think about all the small caps, everything popping up, all these stocks that everybody's losing in turn and they go because they're buying them in. The money's going to go from the rich to the poor. It turns the whole economy around. It's so stupid. Biden and his team, this will turn the whole economy around. Imagine everybody who's put money in, 50,000, 100,000, all of a sudden your position is back to even or doubled. Now you take that money out, you can spend it, pay off your mortgage, buy a car. It drives everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what needs to happen. Anyway, listen,
All
I'm
right.
going to have a drink, and I'm going to go
Have
once
a
again
drink.
play slots, and I'll see you tomorrow in New York. No one, listen, people, I will not be around all morning. I'll be gone. William will be on the road, so
Yeah.
I won't be on Twitter, so don't go looking for me. I get up in the morning, I'll bang out a few things that I think about, but then I'm gone.
All right.
All right?
Thank you,
Have a
Ham.
good night, everybody.
You're
Thank
the
you.
best. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go down these comments, but to the gentleman that asked about the DTCC making crypto, saying that basically crypto isn't collateral. I'll read what they announced. I had to look it up. They announced, the DTC announced that their line of credit facility will implement the following changes to modify collateral. One, the collateral valuation for corporate notes or bonds rated B1 to B3, that's pretty weak, will be updated to use a haircut value of 70% up from 50%. So that collateral, instead of being 50%, is 30%. And then it says, number two, no collateral value will be given for any ETF, exchange traded fund, or other investment vehicle that includes Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency as an underlying investment. The haircut is 100%. My opinion to that, you asked what will it do? I don't think it'll do anything. ETFs as crypto are brand new. So I don't think there's a whole lot of collateral up at the DTC in the form of crypto right now anyway. So if the point of your question was, is there all of a sudden going to be a big missing blob of collateral? I don't think so. I don't know what else it really says. I don't think there's any of us who would deny that crypto is extraordinarily hard to predict in the short run. It's volatile. Maybe that'll stop at some point. So I'm not sure if I were lending money, I'd want to take crypto as collateral either. And at what level? I mean, right now it's 70,000 a coin. If it goes back down to 10,000 a coin, I'm not saying it will. It's not a prediction, none of that. That collateral, that could happen very quickly. So anyway, that's my reaction to that. And the last thing the DTCC wants to do is lever, as they call it, horrible word, lever up Bitcoin even further than it might be already. That's how I read that. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm talking about. I wanted to, I'll read one other thing to you, but let me go down here. This isn't thrilling to read, not. That's not thrilling to read. But anyway, we're going to make that work. We're not going to forget it. Exactly, Jenny. Exactly. That's why I got all, I don't know, not befuddled, but I didn't know how to express it. It doesn't matter. Rule 144 in most cases is a complete non sequitur. Complete. But they use that excuse for me. I guess it would have been better, Jenny, to say that particular avenue of prevarication is now no longer available to them. That's probably a better way to say it. Oh, Lordy. Oh, Lordy. But there's got to be a way to what's the word? Cure. There's got to be a way to cure a mistake, no? Because that's a big statement. Full and accurate disclosures. You can never make a mistake. I don't know. There's got to be a cure mechanism, but I don't know. Wow. We've all been complaining, but it would be a good time. Yeah, that's pretty big. But hey, I'm going to read something to you, Mark. But let me go down these. Let's see this. Crypto DTCC change apparently only applies to interest credit transaction, not consumers. Yeah, I assume it's in there back and forth between brokers. You know, it's not, I don't think it means anything. But overnight lending from one broker to another, I don't know how it works, but it might have an impact there. I don't know. Intercredit transactions. Could be for European markets. I think it's more about how they work with each other. The DTCC, for some reason, has a monopoly on all securities held, almost all, and it's basically all the brokerage firms and hedge funds. And if you look, they cross-pollinate the boards. It's all a club, and we're not invited. Good night. Good night. Not new. Shorts are more volatile, working with only 40% of DJT. Max. I love the dog, by the way. I love the dog. He needs a big rub of his nose. Yes, but see, you're still putting into the system some sort of legitimacy. It doesn't matter. The 40% doesn't matter. I don't have the numbers in my head, the memory, but it's something like 46 million shares outstanding. I forget the number. You can quickly look it up. I'm not trying to be accurate on that, but it's not a huge number. So 40% of 50, the float is 20 million. Okay, call it 20 million. That's really available in the float, and probably a lot of the shareholders of that don't have any intention of selling. But call it 40% of 50 million, 20 million instead of 50 million. What difference does it make? I'm not upset. I know everybody says you're getting upset. I'm not. But what difference does it make when the criminals apparently have sold 770 million shares, which are essentially counterfeit? They're all counterfeit. When I say essentially, maybe 20 million of them are real. So Max, I don't think it. I see how you're thinking, and it's important that the real amount is so small and it can be manipulated, and there's a disaster there. But I think the more important question is whether it's 50 million or 20 million, whether it's 100% or 40%, where did 770 million shares come from to sell? Not borrowed, not located, and not settled. Anyway, yeah, having said everything I said, you are correct that it could increase volatility when you have such a small subset of outstanding shares that are in the float. And I would even argue further reduction in that, because I don't think a large number of the people who have bought, I don't think they have any intention of selling, at least not at these levels. And that's a good point. Evergreen is subjective. 8675309. Thank you. Thank you. I'll ring that bell. Ring that bell. Ring it. Ring it. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Oceanica. A year ago, GTII issued restricted shares, 1 for 10 shares that you own. And the idea is that there's been so many shares now since I first got involved, issued for acquisitions and for insiders. So I don't really know anymore what the float is and what the real float is. But if we can just go with what the story was for a long time, it's changed. But the story was for a long time that the float was something like 20 to 30 million shares. And of that, the true float was probably only 10 or 15, maybe 20 million shares. But the Kramers out of the gate had shorted 40 to 50 to 60 million shares that did not exist. And as time went on, there was 150 million shares counterfeited. And further research by Wall Street insiders saw that when it was Green Thumb Industries, or whatever the name was, that something like 400 million shares could have been sold counterfeit. So the idea was, and now the numbers, I can't give you the ratios. Ham says that there's 500 million shares that have been counterfeited. I think when it was the other name, there were a lot of shares counterfeited. This has been a punching bag for a long time. In Gary Gensler's markets, and he doesn't care about over-the-counter, all you have to do is collude and sell stock down, down, down. You seller box it, which means you get it under 0.0001. It sits there forever. It's like that medical company Lou had, RN, no bid. Then it runs up, bids 0.001 to 0.002. The market makers, so-called market makers, can make a ton of money in that. But also, because there's no bid, they can't sell their trade. They've sold the stock down so much. There's no closing transaction. The company actually goes probably into bankruptcy or in some frozen status. And the criminals have taken tens of millions or more out of this one stock. Gensler doesn't care. The rest of the government doesn't care, because that money goes, I think, to some of our biggest funds and then back into the pockets of the politicians. I mean, it's an endless nightmare loop. So Oceanica, what GTII tried to do after the dividend as a special warrant seemed, I think it was, but for one, I've given you my opinion on that. So to try to gum up the system again, they issued restricted stock, not warrants, restricted stock, 1 for 10. And they had all sorts of wording in that. My problem with it is, after writing that letter that did a blanket release, what's the difference? Now it's just, it should be unrestricted. It's just more counterfeit confetti in the system. Everybody's hoping this is going to make the stock go tomorrow, whatever. I don't see it. I don't see it, because they lied to you when you bought the stock. They put counterfeit shares. They didn't care about the settlement. Why are they going to care about this? However, I have a big however. I can't get my shares released. So something might be working. It might be working. And that was the whole point, Oceanica. They wanted to see if putting restricted shares out to the system, whatever the number is, 150 million counterfeits, if it's 500 million counterfeits, if it's 900 million, if you count the analysis that a Wall Street insider did when the company was called Green Thumb Industries Energy or whatever. The whole thing was to say, well, if you're Fidelity, if you're Questrade, and you have shares on your books that you've given to Oceanica, but you haven't settled, all of a sudden you owe those shares. That's the whole point. I don't think it's going to work, but at least they tried it. At least they tried it. I don't know why we're getting bogged down. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. We can talk about what we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Tomorrow is the prom for Finger, and it's going to be exciting. But why don't we bog ourselves down on a stock that's going nowhere for the time being? Yeah, I just don't see it. I'll try to be explicit. Until David Reichman leaves the company or gives up control of the company, GTII stock is not going up. In fact, it could still bleed a little bit. That I'm not telling you to sell it. If you have in any stock, I was trained at Merrill Lynch by Bob Clayton. The only reason to sell any stock, whether it's up or down or flat, is if you have a better idea. If you have something that you think, whether it's a trade or an investment, will give you a better rate of return, in other words, will make more money for you, that's the time to sell. Otherwise, unless the story has changed, get out. In my opinion, GTII story has changed. And I've been saying that since August at least. The amount of shares out is higher. For some reason, the CEO has decided to go a different path than he was allowing before. The stock price has round tripped. So we know for sure now that the issuance of special warrants as a dividend causing pressure, causing Fidelity to pay 1,000% to borrow, causing Wells Fargo to take away the buy button, driving the stock to $9. We now know for sure that was as high as it was going to go under that squeeze. We now know that. The stock round trip. The Kramers won. The Hurries won that battle. The war is not over. The war is not over. They had to counterfeit more shares. They had to sell more shares, which did not exist. Unfortunately, in my judgment, the business model of GTII, which is to incubate companies and do pristine accounting and reporting, and then float the company, the brain trust has aged out, in my judgment. Oceanica, I don't know any 40-year-old CEO who has a private company who's going to want to go into GTII as a shell for the business plan model they have, which is we will carefully incubate you, culture, grow you, and in 2 years, we will take back the shares. We will give you back your shares. We'll let you float. We'll take you on the market. We'll keep 10%, which is a great business model, by the way. It's a great business model. I don't know any young team that's going to go do this with an 87-year-old man. I just don't get it. Their time is over. That business model for this team is over. They need to go to the home. Now, there are young men who I'm working closely with, who I am extraordinarily impressed with, who are pushing the Trento mining deal and other deals. I'm trying to bring transactions in. I know exactly how Oceanica, if I suddenly were king of the world and I had 6 to 9 months or 18 months, I know exactly what to do. But Oceanica, GTII has round-tripped. It has stalled. And the reason it is stalled is because David Reichman is still running the show. The dividend's not going to make a difference. Your dividend, my dividend. I can't sell my dividend. I can't buy. I can buy more shares. I can't issue it to somebody else. I can't do anything with it. I'm trying to get it. At this point, frankly, I'm not sure it is a sell. I'm not sure GTII is a sell right now. I thought it was a sell at $2, $1.50, $1.70, 60, 50, 40. And I couldn't have been clearer as I talked to you guys about it. But the way I did it was discussing selling all or some and holding for 31 days so you take your tax loss and you can buy cheaper. I didn't come out and ring the bell on whatever positions we have and tell everyone to, because I would be helping the Kramers. I would be helping the Hurries. And I think possibly I might be exaggerating my effect, but can you imagine what Seth Kramer would have done, or Elizabeth Hurry, or the cowardly boo birds? They would cut that piece out and put it all over Twitter. But now that it's at 15 cents, what's the risk? I think the risk is 15 cents. Or maybe it's 5 cents. Or maybe it's 4 cents. But how much would I be saving? I'll just use me. If I sold my GTII right now at 15 cents, I'm saving 15 cents. Now, it might make sense if you want to sell and put it, for example, my favorite trade right now that is predictable, it's not the most exciting on the upside, is Logic. You can buy Logic for 4 cents. If it goes, I don't know, 8 cents, 12 cents, they are going to announce a reverse merger. They've said it for over a year. Aubrey Aubrey advisors, in all of their best judgment, thought it was the best strategy to leave Logic and CAUD with no money. So the D-SPAC failed, and the company could not do the reverse merger because they need, just like I guess GTII, the whole attractiveness of a reverse merger is that Logic is a reporting company. So it slid into 2024. That means they have to come up with the numbers for all of 2023. The deal was announced in November of 2022. I'm not an accountant. Is there something that has to be reworked all the way back to the time the deal was first announced? I don't know. So Logic has had to refile everything, but we're coming up at the time. Normally companies, when they do their annual report, they do it within 45 days of the end of the first quarter. We're coming up on that. That's May 15th. So anyway, as an example, you sell GTII at 15 cents, you buy Logic at 3 or 4 cents, and when Logic goes to 15 cents, triple, you sell it, and then you buy GTI back at 15 cents. And you've tripled your money. Maybe you buy back 3 times GTII. If you have to wait 31 days, which I recommend, because tax losses on capital gains just got better. They just got more valuable because under Joe Biden, because in return for the fact that he's not racist, that he's not Hitler, that he's not misogynist, and that he's good on foreign policy, he won't start wars, and he is good with unions. He comes from Scranton. He's great with foreign leaders. He knows how to build the economy. He's building it back better, and there won't be inflation. The Fed has the economy in control. We are going to re-elect Joe Biden. And one of his policy he's proposed is to increase the cost of capital gains. So one thing, I'm not picking on you, Oshenica, it might make sense to establish losses in GTII while it is laying on its back. And maybe I'm just giving you one idea. Logic could triple or double or quadruple as a trade. Don't get all caught up in it forever. But when it announces its reverse merger that might be worth 20 cents or 25 cents or 40 cents or 30 cents, I don't know. We got to hear it. The shorts and Logic will cover, but will Logic stay down here when it's going to be an NYSE, potentially NYSE company, NASDAQ, which I hate? That's one idea. But maybe it's this one that begins with the last letter of the alphabet. Maybe you have your own idea. Maybe it's DBMM. But you establish a loss, you trade, which is risky. There's no certainty. You trade if you get a gain. 31 days later, you sell, take your gain, you buy double, you buy triple. But I'm not sure now that GTII is down here, the argument's going to go, it's a shell, it's not worth anything, they don't have anything. That's the same argument that's been made for 3 or 4 years. So what could happen on the good side for GTII? What could make this run? They acquire something. They possibly acquire cash flow. They buy back shares. They do other special dividends. They get David Reichman to return the massive amount of stock that he and his insiders took. They reduce the outstanding shares. We, as a group, go on a rampage against the shorts. And then the other thing that could happen is that Alpine could start losing its cases. FINRA could actually do its bloody job. Gary Gensler could do his job. DJT could cause hearings that make MMTLP work, but then it makes finger work. This computer, I hate it. I hate this computer. But it could cause a squeeze in DBMM. It could cause a squeeze in GTII. But thank you. We can keep talking about GTII every single live. I can explain the same thing over. I can explain the same thing over and over again, as I have since August. Nothing's going to change until David Reichman leaves the company. Nothing's going to change unless you get younger people. Me, I'm younger. You get somebody in that aggressively brings in assets that can scare the shorts. They don't want a black swan. You bring in an asset that could suddenly be worth billions. And you prove it. You prove it. But you have to do the work of visiting investors. You have to do the work of bringing research. You have to do the work of going to conferences. You have to meet with buyers. It's going to take time. There is no magic bullet for GTII. There's no magic bullet. The squeeze was happening because of the warrant as a special dividend. I've given you my view on that. One investor got so upset, she left because Lou has died. Therefore, my point of view was wrong because Lou died, and it's unfair to Lou. It doesn't have anything to do with Lou. Lou has done good things. On this one, either Lou or Frank or Gregor, the CEO, they were wrong, but we were wrong. We didn't keep the pressure on Fidelity and Wells Fargo. Well, okay, we didn't. It's over with. GTII, to its credit, for almost 3 years, did everything they could do, every trick, everything they could think of to catch out the shorts. And then finally, the CEO gave up. He decided, you know what? He's taking control. He runs $1 billion company. He's got a Rolls Royce. He can drive around. He's awarded himself stock. He can live the high life. He's not getting any younger. Well, Oshanika Ham said it best. Time kills every story, kills every strategy. And time works in the favor of Carlos Danger, Seth Kramer, Kurt Kramer. There's 6 or 7 investors. And it works in the favor of John Hurry, Elizabeth Hurry, Alpine, and Scottsdale. It's just a fact. And so to make a short squeeze work, we all have to work together. We can't bail out, and we have to keep the pressure on. Oshanika, in my opinion, the only way to get these bastards is in the pocketbook. It's in the pocketbook. And if we can bring value to GTII that makes it a $25 stock, the prime broker won't be fighting in court. They'll be buying in the Kramers, the Hurries, the Scottsdales, the Leos, and the rest of the people from Stone Temple Pilot, New Jersey, wherever the hell they're on, Long Island. All right, have I talked about GTII enough? Nothing's going to happen tomorrow with GTII. The 29th isn't going to do anything, in my opinion. It might, because the criminals are having, the co-conspirators at E-Trade are having a hard time getting my shares. But let me go to the extreme. If the 144 rule is gone after 12 months, what keeps Morgan Stanley E-Trade from just giving me counterfeit shares in my account that say, hey, you can trade them? I don't think it's going to catch out GTII. Okay, I'm done talking about GTII. It takes the whole buzz away from everything Ham just talked about. I'm trying to get excited. I'm going to go see Finger, and I think it's going to be great. I'm going to go see, I hope, the management that is behind at 3 or 4 companies. CAUD, I hope. RCRT, I hope. Logic, I hope. And there's another one. I can't remember. I'm going to meet with investors. I'm going to try to use some of the enthusiasm and possibly show a couple of gold transactions, which should help GTII if I can. But here, I just talked for half an hour on GTII. I hope I sated those of you who needed to hear about GTII. And I hope that when you say that we don't talk about it anymore, I hope you take it that I did. I would never put Ham through this. All right. Yeah, that's right. 770 million. I'm probably also Oshenica. Popcorn. I'm also, my dog isn't here and I'm going crazy. He usually sits right here. He usually clacks down and I'm going crazy. He's gone. I should have left today because when you're traveling, you're not thinking about your dog. I'm missing my dog, so that probably comes up. 10K. See, not legal advice is unflappable. He's like Ace. He's unflappable. I'm flappable. 10K for GTII says end of 2023, 370 million shares issued and outstanding. That's a much bigger number than it was when I first got involved. Now, I used to be able to tell you with all confidence that I did not think that Reichman or Griffin or Benedetto or there's one other guy would or the charity would sell any stock. I don't feel that way anymore. I think what needs to happen at GTII is that the current team has to go out. I think a lot of that stock has to be given back. If I were suddenly made king of the world, I would acquire cash flowing assets, probably for stock, but maybe stock and equity. I'd start buying back shares and maybe slowly at first, but the shorts, everything they sold that was counterfeit, I'd be buying back at low prices. I'd put that in the treasury. Those are real shares. Those take real shares out of the market. And it would be slowly at first. It would accelerate. I would acquire transactions. I would acquire the good guys that have all this energy. And I would slowly build up a treasury chest of real shares. And as the stock, it would take it. computer